welcome back to the channel. It's Muriel from Costa Rica with today Costa Rica tips for travelers, but of course also when you want to live in Costa Rica, you will be a traveler for a short while before you will move here. Obviously you will explore the country first before you know where you want to live, right? So walk with me a little bit so I can tell you my personal advice that I think would be helpful for you. My son is biking behind me, as you can see. But first and foremost, tip number one, Costa Rica tip for travelers, Costa Rica tips for travelers and for people who want to move here as expats. Before entering Costa Rica, you should have a valid passport. Before 2016, the law of Costa Rica wanted you to have a valid passport. There was value at least I think 90 days after leaving Costa Rica, but today they are not so keen on that. I think you should be able to enter Costa Rica with a valid passport up to the day that it's valid until you leave. But check that out for sure. Because the rules might have been changed. But you should know tip number two, Costa Rica tip number two for travelers and for expats who want to move in here. There is a 90-day visa. So as a tourist, you get a stamp entering the country, and then after 90 days, you have to leave the country again. Now, how do expats that, right? How do Dirk and Muriel do that before buying their property? Which will be, by the way, another video because we're into the process of buying property in Costa Rica. So keep your eye on my channel, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and so you get notifications every time I add a new video, and that might serve you in any topic that you're looking for to learn about Costa Rica. It's so hot, I was struggling over my words and almost over my feet. Let me just stand still. So about the visa, it's really important that there's your car driving there. Your life does not end thinking about that you cannot longer stay than 90 days. Of course, there are ways called visa runs that you can do in order to leave the country like in a day and within the same day enter Costa Rica again with a new stamp, a new date that gives you a permit to be here for 90 days again, and you can repeat that endlessly. But of course you also have to be cautious for questions, and what you need if you enter Costa Rica is to show you that you have an exit flight or an exit bus, some kind of ticket that shows the Costa Rica authorities that you are leaving the country. And you can easily book a ticket with a local bus, or there are even companies that you can go to, flight companies, and book your flight and without paying be able to show the flight date and then ask for a refund for free. And there are many options for that. We use them as well. But your visa is something that you have to pay attention to, because you are in trouble when you want to leave the country with a overdate visa. So that's about visa. Tip three, in the section tips, Costa Rica tips for travelers and for expats, new coming expats, is that we have dollars here. And colones. And colones, like $1 is more or less 600 colones. It depends, on the economy. Look at the dogs and the boys. Let me walk through them. So, but more or less 600. You can in general pay with colones and with dollars everywhere, but in general, if you pay with dollars, they often give you colones back. Be cautious, always make the calculation yourself. Banks handle different currency for exchange than supermarkets. You have to, to get around and to learn a little bit more about the rules in general. Smaller shops give you a worse, not so good exchange rate back than bigger shops. And in general, I always want to give you this tip to always have 2 kinds of currency, at least colones, in your back pocket. And then tip number 4, Costa Rica tips for travelers and people who like to start living here and they're here as travelers to explore. The weather, right? We have wet season and dry season, but we also have 2 kind of rainy seasons, and it depends on where you are going in Costa Rica, how wet or dry it is. So before you are planning your trip to Costa Rica, let me just sit here. It's important that you explore the area where you want to go to. Look at if it's dry season or wet season, and be cautious that if you look at my boys, they're it's super hot here. It's the driest period of the year, super humid. All the roads here at the peninsula de Nicoya, where we live, are very dry. And I also have something to tell you about adopting pets, by the way, if you want to travel through Costa Rica. So hang in there. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do that. At the end of the video or somewhere you see like a little sticker coming. Click it, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you get notifications, so I can better serve you with new tips. But about the wet season, dry season, Costa Rica is a very small country, right? But you will get into trouble if you have a limited time to stay and you think, that's a pretty short piece to cross with a rental. I always advise to, if you do a rental car in Costa Rica, always rent a 4-wheel drive. And in wet season, like a little piece of the map like this can take you like for 3-4 days, because sometimes the road is closed. There has been you know, the road is flushed away, there could be a landslide, there could be anything can basically happen here with the roads. And also even in dry season, you never know what happens, especially at the peninsula where we live. The roads are pretty bad, but it's also the reason why it's not so very crowded here, and that has its charm. And near San Jose, Santa Ana, Heredia, and that area, the roads are way better. And that, of course, that enables you to go faster from A to B. So check the weather type, check the area that you want to explore, and you know, take enough time to go from A to B. You cannot be in a hurry. Traveling in a car over the road, also by bus or whatever, you cannot be in a hurry. Costa Rica takes time. And another Costa Rica tip for travelers is the stray dogs. You see those 2 fellows behind me? Well, the one that's in front now, that's our Lucky, right? We adopted him from the pet rescue in the community here in Santa Teresa, where we live. He was an official saved dog, right? And we officially decided to adopt him. Now, why do I give this as in my video as a tip for travelers, right? A Costa Rica tip for travelers, and also people who like to live here. Because as an expat living here in Costa Rica, I see so many travelers coming and enjoying Costa Rica, and they adopt a dog. But adoption is having the papers for the dog, taking care of vaccinations of the dog, you know, taking care of your dog when he gets injured. Like there can be a dog fight or whatever. Like the other day, one of our dogs was bitten by another dog. You have to check them at the vet, right? It costs money. A dog is a responsibility. There are many travelers coming to Costa Rica, adopting a dog. They stay around for a couple of months and then they leave the country, they leave the dog, and the dog stays behind devastated. And I don't want you to do that. So if you decide to travel to Costa Rica or even move to Costa Rica, use your mind, use your common sense and your heart. And if you, come here Lucky, if you adopt a dog like our Lucky, come here, you know, leash him, give him a name tag, give him a chip, give him his vaccinations, and if you decide to leave the country for holidays or a visa run, board him. You can check your local vet for boarding options. We boarded Lucky recently for the first time. There was a big success. It cost us like 5,000 colones. Yeah, Chicho's nice. He's my neighbor's dog. He's also a big buddy of Lucky, and he's born here. So he is not a stray dog, but he is vaccinated too, you know. There is big heartworm disease here with dogs, and it kills them. So you have to be aware of all the responsibilities that's coming with, you know, tips for travelers in Costa Rica, travel tips in Costa Rica, for Costa Rica. Don't just adopt a stray dog and just think that it's like giving him food. There's a way more responsibility for that. Right, Nick? Yep. You have anything to advise for strangers who like to move to Costa Rica? What do you like best?
Een goede fiets met schakels meenemen.
Okay, he says if you want to bike in Costa Rica, you need good, what's the word for it? So you can accelerate or not accelerate on bad roads. So for hikers, it's actually a good thing that Nick mentions it. He has a little BMX bike. If you want to bike, yeah, sure. You need to wear a helmet if you want to go, if you really do hikes in the jungle, because the roads go like this, right? Oh, I think I see monkeys there. So I think I'm gonna leave my my Costa Rica tips for travelers and for people who want to move here for now. My whole channel is full with tips, so just tune in my channel, subscribe, and if you wonder how we, Dirk and I, make our living in Costa Rica, just check my channel and check the description, and I will add some links that you can use to learn more about how to create an income with Instagram, living and working in Costa Rica. Yes.
Hier we komen, altijd helmen dragen.
Ja.
Niet vallen.
Always wear helmets on any vehicle. That's the tip of my son, because what happened yesterday or 2 days ago?
5 dagen.
5 days ago?
Ik heb een gat in mijn lijf.
Okay, he has a hole in his back because he fell off the quad. Sure. Look, yeah. Dirk and Nick were in a quad accident. I have another video coming up about safety and transportation in Costa Rica. We have an ADV. I will tell you more about it in my next video. But wear helmets. It saved my son's and my husband's life. You know, this is just skin hurdle.
Mama,
it will go away.
Mij niet echt, maar papa.
Yeah, for sure. That's true. That's true. So wear helmets. And safety comes first. So this was my video, and we want to say bye from Costa Rica. Bye. And we love to inspire you in all our next videos. This was Muriel. Take care. Bye bye.